the new Springfield Armory TRP 1911 with the AOS optic system. Let's check it out. The FBI contracted Springfield Armory to produce a 1911 for their HRT or hostage rescue teams. They wanted something in 45 ACP. They wanted something that was highly reliable and accurate. Honestly, it was a custom firearm made for FBI specifications. Then Springfield Armory offered their TRP, and this is along the same lines as the custom professional used by the FBI. There's a lot of custom fitting that goes into these, and honestly, it's at the top of the Springfield Armory line. As far as the fit with the barrel and the slide, the sear, the trigger pull, all the action, this is as close to custom as you're gonna get in a production 1911. Forged slide, forged receiver. I mean, Springfield Armory knows how to make a 1911. So now they're offering their TRP with the AOS system, which is from Agency Arms, and it's an optic system that goes right there on your TRP pistol, and it makes this really even more up to date. You have your accessory rail, you have your front and rear cocking serrations, and really what this does, it proves that the 1911 is still a very viable self-defense option for tactical, military, or for home defense. Now this is in 9mm, and this is the first they've offered the TRP series in 9mm. This is the contoured carry, which has the bob, and it makes just an excellent concealed carry piece with an alloy aluminum frame over the steel frame of the regular TRP. This really gives you a firearm that was designed by the FBI in the civilian market. And I want to give a big thank you to Springfield Armory for sending the TRP AOS optic system 1911 for this review. The Springfield Armory TRP 1911, it stands for Tactical Response Pistol. This is based on the Custom Professional, which was commissioned by the FBI to produce a really high-performing 1911 for their HRT or hostage rescue teams. And they are the elite SWAT team counter-domestic terrorist group here in the U.S. Because they've got to be very precise, they've got to be able to take care of action, the pistol has to be incredibly accurate, and it was in 45 ACP. So Springfield Armory took that whole same concept and they have put it into the TRP or Tactical Response Pistol. The originals were in 45 ACP, and honestly, unless you go straight to the custom shop, this is as custom as you're going to get for a production handgun. Every part is marked. It goes along the process of the hand fitting. So again, this is the pinnacle for Springfield Armory in their production line. And it was in 45 ACP. This is the government size with a 5-inch barrel. It does have a Picatinny rail, but you can get it without. You can also get a full shroud model, which comes all the way out to the end. So there's a number of options. And they've also produced their contour carry model, which is a bobbed grip. That really helps for printing, and also it has a 4 1/4 inch barrel, which is like your commander size. You can get it with the pick rail or without, and again, these are all forged slide, forged barrel, but with the contour carry model, it has an aluminum alloy frame. Now this is in the FDE or desert sand color. It's beautiful, but they also make a black version as well, and it's Cerakote. But there are two big differences with this handgun that Springfield Armory has just released. And first is that it has the AOS system. And this is from Agency Arms. This is an optic system, and it has capability of fitting up to 30 different optics. It does have a plate. We're going to look at that in a minute. And as you can see, the plate has the rear sight on it, once you take this off, the adapter plate will also have a rear sight, which to me is vital. Now your cover plate is here. We have 2 screws. Now the AOS system, or agency optics system, it has this platform that comes up, and that corresponds with your adapter plate. So it gives it that extra bite, and it locks it into place. So first we have 2 mounting screws that actually adhere the plate to the top of the slide. And then here at the back we have our optic screws. So you're not counting on just the optic screws to hold this plate into place. So that gives you even that much more security. So this gives you a number of layers of stability. Of course, you have that slide to your mounting plate, that groove. Then you have screws that actually attach the adapter to the slide. Then you have your optic screws that attach the sight to the adapter plate. And because the sights are high enough, they co-witness with the red dot. And here we have it mounted just for you to see the footprint, and of course any of your RMSC or your Holosun 507, these will fit. Now there are a total of 4 adapter plates, and you have to order these from Springfield Armory. They do come with the rear sight and the setup, and so for each one that you want, you do have to order it. The second thing is this is in 9mm, which 9mm has now surpassed 45 ACP in popularity with your 1911 handguns. But one of the things about custom handguns, the tighter the fit, the more accurate they are. And it's one of the reasons why the old GI 1911s were what they call rattle traps. They just seemed to have a lot of play in between the frame and the slide, and that was to increase reliability. So there needs to be a balance, and that's one of the things about the TRP. It comes in with that really close fit frame to slide, and yet it has enough tolerance to where it makes it extremely reliable. And that was one of the things the FBI was looking for. They needed the accuracy for those longer shots, especially in a hostage situation. And yet they had to have it reliable. So first thing let's do is drop our magazine, and we have a 9-round 9mm magazine. This does come in 45 ACP as well. It'll be an 8-round magazine. Check the chamber, and the gun's empty. Now the first thing that I've noticed is just the smoothness of the slide. And it comes back really nice and smooth. Now, this must be an 80 series because I can feel that little trigger safety. It still has that really smooth glide on it. And that has everything to do with the rails contacting from the slide to the frame, and it gives it a very smooth shooting experience. Also, we have at single action for the 1911, you've got your Delta style hammer, and we have a nice high ride beaver tail. We have ambidextrous safeties, and they are extended, so it allows you to get your thumb up there as a gas pedal and hold on to it. One of the things I noticed too is if you have the accessory rail, you can actually ride your thumb on that rail, and it gives you a lot of control over the firearm. Now here at the back, we have this cutout, and this is the bob, and it's what they call their contour carry, so it just allows for that end to be just clipped off. That way when you're carrying this is the hardest part to conceal, your grip, and with that little cut it makes it much easier to be able to just tuck under a t-shirt or just a light jacket and remain concealed. Also, we have some really nice checkering. This is 20 lines per square inch on the front, gives you a really tight grip, and then with the mainspring housing, same thing, and this is a steel mainspring housing. The beaver tail grip safety has a memory notch here. Just allows you to get that hand in there, and it pushes that grip safety in just a little bit extra. If you have a larger hand sometimes, this can be a problem, just activating that grip safety. But one of the things about a grip safety is it allows this to be extremely safe to carry, even with one in the chamber. Without the grip safety depressed, the trigger will not pull. Of course, we have a safety on, still no action. And that way you've got to have a full grip on the handgun, which is a passive safety, and it's something that's a holdover from the original 1911s for the military trials, which was a requirement. But here, once we have that grip safety deployed, we have a really incredible trigger brake. We're going to look at that in a minute. We do have a 3-slot Picatinny rail. It still gives the look of the traditional 1911. It just has this short little rail, but you can get the full-size model with an extended rail, and again, you can get this just plain without the accessory rail. Front and rear cocking serrations, they're good and they're tight, but they're very grippy. And then We have a dovetail at the front for the front sight. It is a tritium sight, and then here at the back we have a black outline which is serrated. We have a notch here to be able to perform one-handed reloads, and then we have beautiful serrations that come all the way down the top of the slide, and this just kind of cuts the glare, especially if you're in bright sunlight or bright light conditions. And I'll tell you, that is extremely well done, and this is something you don't see unless it's a more of a custom style handgun. Here we have the traditional barrel bushing, and we have the recoil spring plug, and we'll look at that when we break it down. It is a match grade barrel, and again, it is cold hammer forged, which is some of the best in the industry. Of course, the slide is also hammer forged, but the frame again is an aluminum frame, so it makes it a fairly lightweight option. Now again, there are other models that have all steel frames that are the full size, but this is really designed for carry. Magazines, very well done. It even has screw holes where you can put base pads on here if you want. There is a bevel in the magazine well, so it makes it a little bit easier to slip those magazines in. Also, nice drop-free magazines. And then, of course, you can't switch this to the other side. It's just the way the 1911 was designed. And with the Contour Carry model, you do get 3 9mm magazines. Again, they're 9 rounds apiece. We have VZ grips, and these are the Hydra pattern. Rubbing your hand here, it just kind of has squiggly lines, but man, you grab hold of it and bite into it, and it is solid. And you have this smooth thumb rest, so it's not going to wear on your thumb as you're holding on. And of course, on this side, it's just all the way down. One of the things they do is hand fit the rear, and they contour this to make this extractor to just mate with the end of the slide. I mean, it's very well finished. Frame to slide fit is crazy tight. I mean, there is no perceived movement. I'm sure there's a touch just to add to reliability. And then here at the barrel slide and the frame slide is locked in. Of course, this barrel bushing is going to lock in your barrel. And that's really what lends to accuracy, is this barrel bushing that just mates up to your barrel and it keeps it stable. I like the black with the FDE color. It kind of just sets it off, and it just doesn't look like peanut butter. It gives you those black little accents to make it really look nice. Skeletonized trigger, which for 1911s, they're really exceptional. In fact, 1911 triggers can be the best trigger pull out there because it is single action. Now, a little closer look at the trigger. Of course, there's very little take up. It just hits a wall immediately. Man, a nice crisp break. Reset right there, very fast. Again, these triggers are custom fit to the frame, and each part is numbered so it stays with the handgun. Let's check trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 6.1 ounces. 4 pounds, 6 ounces. This thing is consistent. TRP, very minimal. It's just there on the slide. And then here on the other side, we do have Springfield Armory, and we do have the Springfield Armory logo. A little closer look at these serrations, 20 lines per square inch. They are tight and they are very well done. Very grippable. And really, the front texturing and rear is the most important part of your grip. Now, one of the things about the side serrations or any kind of texturing is that it helps it to keep from canting. So if you've got a good solid grip, and this does give you a full grip, this keeps this gun very stable, keeps it on target, and it allows you to hold on to it. Now, this one is in 9mm. They do make it in 45 ACP, which ups the game a little bit, gives you a little more recoil, but again, very manageable, and this definitely helps. And you get that hand high up on that beaver tail, and it allows you to get a little bit closer to that slide for that more lower bore axis. But one thing about a 1911 is the pointability. I mean, they are very pointable handguns. There's something about the weight with the slide, and it's so thin, and it's very balanced. And these, honestly, are such a pleasure to shoot, and it's one of the reasons why the 1911 keeps hanging around and actually becoming more and more popular. With the full-size model, you're getting 3-dot sights, and they are tritium. With the Contour Carry, you're getting that black outline with the tritium at the front. Again, this is more of the commander size, and with the aluminum frame, this is your government size, and it does have that forged steel frame. The rails only come out the same. I mean, they come out about the same on either one. This is a 5-inch barrel, 4 1/4-inch barrel. And then with the grip, the biggest difference is just the bob. Now, with the original model, you do get a mag well, which is really nice, and this allows you to be able to get those mags in even easier. But one of the things about the Contour Carry is that they want it to be as small and thin and unobtrusive here at the bottom. So you're not going to get your mag well on the Contour Carry model. Weight on the Contour Carry model, 31 ounces. Weight on the full-size model, 43.05 ounces. Now this again does have the steel frame, so that really bumps it up. Well guys, check out suchgear.com. We have just revamped our website. We're doing a lot over there, including monthly giveaways. We also have a weekly newsletter. There's a lot of deals on there. Also, we have contraband videos, and we have a lot of merch, including some Richardson ball caps that are for the Such Nation. Also, we do t-shirts as well in all sizes. We also have patches, which we have a number of different designs, and we do stickers. So check out suchgear.com. A big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA, one of the biggest suppliers of ammunition in the country. We really appreciate Fiocchi. Also Lula loaders, and these actually load single stack, double stack, different calibers. These are absolutely excellent. Man, that's smooth. I mean, super smooth. Well guys, we have the Springfield Armory TRP, and this has their optics ready version. And one of the things about optics ready for especially the 1911, because it's so thin, when you put a larger optic on it, it changes the dynamic of the recoil. With this, I put on a small Holosun K507K. It'll also take the Shield RMASC. And it makes it a very lightweight. It doesn't change the dynamics as much. You have optics plates, and you've got your sight, which I love that. I want to have my rear sight. The grips, when I first pulled this out of the box, guys, I thought this is going to be a little too aggressive. You have your really strong checkering on the front strap and your mainspring housing, and then we have this G10 that's pretty aggressive. But once you shoot it, it gives you a good feel to it. It is not uncomfortable. I've shot handguns that get really uncomfortable with the grip, and this just retains it. It's right on the edge, but it does give you a really nice feel to it. The bob, you know, definitely is just kind of nestles right here in the meat of your hand. With the TRP series, we have our accessory rail with the Picatinny slots, and then we have front and rear cocking serrations. I mean, this is decked out. So for a gun from 1911, we've got optics ready, front and rear cocking serrations. You've got places to put lights and lasers, very aggressive grip in the bob. This takes the 1911 to a different level, and it just really shoots well. And in 9mm, it's fairly soft to shoot. Now you have that 9-round mag capacity with the 1911 mags. And while there is a big rush to go into the 2011s, which I do personally like, there's something about shooting that original 1911 with the controls and everything, but yet upgraded to modern standards. These magazines are working out great. We haven't had any malfunctions. It's a very smooth shooting gun. And one of the big reasons, it has a really long rail system that goes with the slide to the frame. It makes it very smooth shooting, which is typical for 1911s. And the trigger is 1911, but it is really nice. Springfield Armory's been making 1911s for a long time, and they do an incredible job. And this is just a very beautiful handgun. For disassembly, drop your magazine, check the chamber, gun is empty. Now let's look at the muzzle. Now first, depress your guide rod spring plug, and then we're going to turn our barrel bushing to about 9 o'clock. Now you want to hold on to that spring plug because it's under spring tension, so it's going to come out. And we can go ahead and remove this if we want. It makes it a little easier for the barrel bushing to go to about the 4 o'clock position or 5 o'clock. You'll find it. And then once it does, you can just slide that out. Now we're going to bring back our slide and hit that first notch right there at our slide stop. And then we're going to push out from the other side. So that way we can just take and pull out our takedown lever or our slide stop. And then we can just take the slide and we can come right off the end of the frame. This is our recoil spring guide rod, and we're going to drop our barrel link and pull the barrel right out. Again, 4 1/4 inch barrel. It is cold hammer forged. These are really tough barrels, and they're going to be very accurate, ramped, and you can see that polished feed ramp. It's just exceptional. The recoil spring guide rod, it just fits like this. It's one of the shorter versions. It's more the commander size. This is your traditional 1911 setup. Of course, here with the slide, very well done, which is typical for your Springfield Armory. You can see the markings, 190. That is the part that mates to the frame. And if you'll notice, the serial number ends in 190. I'm telling you guys, the fit and finish of this handgun is so well done. I mean, it's just smooth and blended. Here with the frame, just well done. One thing I love about the 1911 and a lot of the older handguns is we have a long rail section. So this just rests, the slide rests here, and it gives it a lot of slide to frame contact. Makes it very smooth to shoot. But overall, 1911 style. And really, guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. For reassembly, we're going to bring our barrel in, and we're going to bring it from the front. You're going to drop your barrel link to keep it from interfering. Once you get it in, we're going to lift it back up. Then we're going to take our recoil spring, go ahead and put it into place through our guide rod, and then we're going to put on our recoil spring plug. Make sure that barrel link is in the right position. The slide stop fits right through it. So we're going to bring it over. You're going to peek through and see where the barrel link is and go ahead and put in your slide stop. Next, we're going to go forward and we're going to put in our barrel bushing. Go ahead and get it to that 5 o'clock position like this, and then we're going to just turn it around to the 9 o'clock. Bring down your spring plug again. This is spring tension, and all you have to do is just clip it like this, and it's going to stay into place. But depress it, bring it down, and it clips or snaps into place. Now we're going to bring back our slide, and we're going to line that notch up, lifting our slide stop so it doesn't scratch the frame. And then there's a small detent. We're going to push in and up, just like that. And then it rests into place. Be careful not to scratch your frame. We call that the idiot scratch. And you're going to test for function. And we're back in business. Now, keeping your firearms maintained and cleaned is vital. Otis makes some of the best cleaning equipment out there. They make a number of different kits that are dedicated for different rifles, pistols. They also have Shooter's Choice, which makes excellent CLP and bore solvent and different cleaning materials. The Ripcord is one of their signatures, and there's a whole system based around it. They are suppliers to the U.S. military. So check out Otis Technologies, highly recommended, and we want to thank Otis for being a sponsor of the channel. Comes in a Springfield Armory box, and we have a gun case. Also, you have paperwork, and we have our lock underneath here, and it does come with magazines under here. Case, really well done, double zippers. You even have a place you could put a small padlock on here just for added security. And of course, we have our handgun. Have a place for mags. It's just a sleeve. It's padded, but it works really well just to slip these down into it. It's a very simple case, but it's padded and it's very well done, and it's better than just a box. MSRP on the Springfield Armory TRP 1911 is $1,999. For a 1911, that might scare a few people, and we're seeing a lot of budget 1911s, but we're also seeing a lot of really high-end 1911s. The one thing about this handgun, and of course market price will typically be less, is that this is again a custom production handgun. Hand-fitted, all the parts are numbered, they're all matched to the pistol. This is the closest you're going to get to custom for any production pistol. You start getting into custom handguns, especially 1911s, and the price goes way up. So really this, for what you're getting, is a good price if you like custom handguns, but you don't want to pay the extra money. What are some pros and cons? Well, first is the forged slide, the forged barrel, and then if you get the all-steel model, the forged receiver or frame. This one comes with the aluminum frame, which is going to just take the weight down. And for a concealed carry piece for a 1911, this is getting into that really perfect size with the contour carry model, with the bob, and it's going to help from printing. Of course, you're not going to get that magwell, which is going to add to that printing as well. Incredible accuracy. One thing though, again, is that custom hand fitting. I mean, that really gives this the edge over your standard 1911s. The G10 grips from VZ Grips, the Hydra pattern, very well done. All your controls with the extended frame safeties, incredible trigger, front and rear cocking serrations, and accessory rail if you want it. If you don't, you can get the other versions. And that's another thing. They have a number of different models. You can go with the Contour Custom, or you can go with just your standard full-size government 9mm or in 45 without the rail, with the rail. It just gives us a lot of options. Has a nice Cerakote finish, but if you want black, you can get that as well. This really, to me, takes the 1911 and it gets it toward its pinnacle for a production handgun. The 20 lines per square inch checkering gives it a really good grip, and guys, in 9mm it is soft to shoot. But again, you can go with the 45 ACP. Now the AOS system is a huge pro. It locks in to the slide. There are cuts that match this and just lock this down. You have your mounting points to the slide, and then you have your optic to the mounting plate. So this is a great system, and you do have that rear sight that co-witnesses with the red dot. And there's a ton of different options. One con would be that you have to buy these, and they're not cheap, but mainly because you get the sight, and that has a lot to do with it, plus the system itself is locked down. So it is $49 for the first one, and I would give that a little bit of a ding, but it does give you a very expanded system overall. I mean, guys, honestly, if the FBI has come in and given their specifications for their hostage rescue teams or their HRT, one of the things about the HRT is that they're on standby 24/7, and they are within 4 hours of any place in the country if they need to get there as a counter-terrorist group. And they rely on the Springfield Armory Custom Professional, and the TRP is right there in line with it. So guys, while the 1911 is legendary and it served the U.S. military for decades and continues to serve, not only with special ops units, also with special police units, the FBI, but also for home defense. If the FBI has chosen the Custom Professional, the TRP is right there with it. And this is the closest you're going to get to a custom firearm, and yet because it's a production pistol, it brings the price down to be reasonable. And again, a big thank you to Springfield Armory for sending the TRP 1911 with the AOS optic system in 9mm for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Okay, I still didn't find out what the round capacity was. What is the round capacity? We really appreciate HRT or Hoskew Register.
Good boy.
Cold hammer forged. I mean, it's like these hands are just like everywhere. Bushing. Now that spring, okay, spring. So the FBI, okay, and the FBI. Of course, the Contour Commander, I mean, the Contour model is what we're really looking at, so I need to give it more of that, and I'm just doing too much of this other.